Well, our weather pattern is going to continue to be a roller coaster going forward. We had clouds and rain and some cooler weather yesterday. Today we had what feels like a typical summer day. It's hot, it's humid, and we had those highs ranging anywhere from the upper 90s into some of the triple digits. Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, we're going to start off warm overnight. Tomorrow anywhere from the lower to the upper 70s. Depending on the area, mostly along and south of I-40 is where I think the highest potential for those warmer temperatures are going to be, not only during the morning, but also the afternoon. But tomorrow afternoon, it's also going to be cooler in many areas, and that's because we've got a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. How cool? We'll get a load of these temperatures tomorrow afternoon, lower 90s, southwest Missouri, northwest Arkansas, and parts of Oklahoma. Now, along and south of I-40, that's where temperatures are going to be a lot warmer compared to other locations. Even then, it's still technically cooler compared to what we saw today for some areas. So lower to the upper 90s, depending on the location. Not everyone's going to see rain and thunderstorms tomorrow, but I think that there's a pretty good opportunity, especially in our far eastern counties of Oklahoma and in pretty much a large chunk of our Arkansas coverage area. There's going to be a pretty good opportunity for a little bit more scattered thunderstorms, right around 60%. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. That's a look at the temperatures. Let's get a load of what we've got in terms of the precipitation and severe weather risk. For the risk for today, there's nothing going on. And remember, this continues into tomorrow morning, so nothing to highlight for now. We're not talking severe weather with the activity that really isn't even going to be possible through the remainder of this evening. We should stay mostly quiet. There's a low 20% chance for some pop-ups, nothing severe, so we can move past this. Now, rain chances. There's a couple areas that it's highlighting. One, it's highlighting a higher chance further to the west because just outside of our coverage area into central western Oklahoma, there's actually a pretty good opportunity this evening for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be severe with a damaging wind potential. So the rain chances are going to be higher to the west, and it's kind of hard to see, but notice where it says I-35 just outside of our coverage area. Notice those rain chances get higher the further west you go. That's that activity for this evening. The algorithm's detecting that for this evening. And then once again, into tomorrow, there's a high area in northwest Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, and into the River Valley. And that's for the activity that we're expecting tomorrow. In fact, as we take a look at those rain chances and the totals, like we said, not everyone's going to see rain, but I think there's a pretty good opportunity for more widespread rain activity compared to what we've seen recently. I think it's going to be a little bit less in parts of southwest Missouri and northern Oklahoma, but notice Tulsa area, Stillwater, Bristow. Now, it's not all of Payne County, right? But there are the potential highlighted for 1 to even 3, dare I say, even some localized higher amounts of rainfall, especially in the Boston Mountains, parts of the River Valley, where the rain totals are showing anywhere between 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. Not everyone's going to see 4 inches of rain. Let's make that very clear. Not everyone's going to see beneficial rainfall in general. But with the latest projections, I'm at least hopeful, that we're going to see maybe a little bit more widespread rain. Not everyone's going to see it, but also beneficial totals that we desperately need. So that's a look at what we've got there. That's certainly going to help with our fire weather outlook. The good news is for us, there's no highlighted areas for fire weather activity for today and tomorrow. So makes sense for tomorrow. We got a chance for rain, right? But the good news is, at least for the time being, it's dry, but it's not dry enough for those conditions. Now, something else that occurs when you get this warm and this humid in the morning is you really don't have any sort of issues with morning fog. And here's a look at the Foghorns morning fog outlook. Huge shout out to Foghorns, by the way, for sponsoring our channel. We're so grateful to have them here as a sponsor. Be sure to support them like they support us. As you can see, the algorithm's not really detecting a whole lot of issues. Northwest Arkansas, River Valley. There's a couple of areas highlighted in eastern portions of the coverage area into, southwest Missouri and also to the west in Oklahoma. But notice, even if it is detecting reduced visibility, it's not 4 miles or less. It's right around 10 or less. So no major issues expected into tomorrow morning. Huge shout out to Foghorns for sponsoring our channel. Comment down below, what's your favorite wing flavor of theirs? And if you haven't tried their wings yet, be sure to pay them a visit. They're located in Fayetteville. Great, place to get some good food, good drink, enjoy the Razorback game, whether it's at home or away. Be sure to check them out. That's a look at what we got here at the localized forecast for the next 12 to 24 hours. Coming up, we're going to break down that risk for severe weather, future scan radar, all of that here in just a little bit. All right, welcome back. Here's a look at future scan radar. So overnight tonight to tomorrow morning, yeah, there could be a couple scattered showers in parts of the area, but the real activity arrives by tomorrow afternoon, closer to that 3 o'clock timeline. Now, not everyone's going to see rain and thunderstorms, but notice this activity continues late afternoon into the evening and even into the early overnight as this starts to push out. By the time we get closer to about midnight, we're not expecting anything really as it's looking right now beyond that, but I think fair timing is between 3 in the afternoon and midnight, and that includes pretty much all of our county coverage area. Notice it's showing more of the activity in northwest Arkansas in the River Valley compared to other locations, even far eastern Oklahoma, LaFleur County, Sequoia County, Adair County, right? Don't take that too literally. There could be storms elsewhere that develop, right? Especially when you get some of these days where you get some additional outflow boundaries that kicks off some additional storms. But I think looking at our algorithm, and I'm a little bit biased here, I think our algorithm does a pretty good job. When Future Scan finally catches on and it's a little bit more aligned with those rain chances with our unique algorithm you're only going to see here, I think it's fair to say it's doing a fairly decent job. I think there's a pretty good opportunity for some of us to see more rain than we've seen in quite some time. Not everyone's going to see that, unfortunately. It's just that the totals are going to be a little bit more impressive in some locations, and then you're going to see some areas that don't even see a drop of rain, unfortunately. So that's a look at what we've got there. Now that we've shown you Future Scan, here's a look at that severe weather risk. This was upgraded today. The update that you saw earlier today for the morning and the midday did not highlight this upgrade from the low to the medium. Now, the medium risk really is for areas outside of our county coverage area. It does include portions of our far eastern counties in Arkansas and southwest Missouri. So that's not saying that because it's on the far edge of the county coverage area, it really doesn't matter, right? The bulk of the risk, and this is what's kind of weird with these severe weather outlooks, is it doesn't mean that exactly in the orange it's going to be worse than it is in the blue. Think about this, where you saw Future Scan radar showing those storms developing basically to the west of 49 and along I-40. As those storms march east, they're intensifying with time as they're making their way into a more favorable environment. The more favorable environment is for those areas in orange and into central Arkansas, central southern Missouri. So further to the east, there's a little bit greater opportunities that they're going to maintain maybe a little bit stronger levels than what they are in the blue. But regardless if you're in blue or in orange, I want you to stay plugged into the forecast tomorrow. It's not the highest risk that we've seen. And just to let you know, our system's a little bit unique. We don't do the 1 to 5 scale. It's not that there's anything wrong with that, but we want it to be not confusing to the viewers in terms of everything. Sometimes when you have all these numbers and the risks, it gets a little confusing. So we break it down by low, medium, high, and extreme risk for the day. We rarely see high risks issued in our county coverage area. It's been a while. I can't remember the last time we saw an extreme risk in our county coverage area. It's been a few years. So, those are the areas that you don't typically see that often, but low and medium, they're typically issued a little bit more often. So just to ease your fears, again, it's not the highest risk that we've seen. Not everyone's going to see storms, and certainly not everyone's going to see severe weather. Is just something we want you to be mindful of. In fact, the main risks tomorrow are going to be large hail, I'd say quarter to ping pong ball size, and then damaging winds of maybe 60 to 75 miles an hour. The tornado risk, very, very low, not quite completely zero, but I think winds are going to be the primary risk that we have with storms tomorrow. Next 7 days look active in terms of the heat because we see the temperatures drop the next couple of days, and then before you know it, back into the triple digits, unfortunately. And that includes northwest Arkansas, River Valley, Oklahoma, and even portions of southwest Missouri. Not everyone's going to see triple digits. The good news is at least it's not the full 7 days that we're experiencing this, but you can see it is going to be warm the next several days. And then here's a look at northeast Oklahoma. At least further into Oklahoma, things are going to start to cool off a little bit. I say cool off, not really. It's still in the 90s, but hey, at least it's not 110. And then here's a look at what we got with that southwest Missouri forecast as well. Things are looking cooler, right? But still going to see some warm temperatures. So we'll let you know the very latest coming up. Stick around with Weather 225.